old.
And that's an ugly, pimply bitch. Yep, I'm 9, but thank you.
Okay, so I put up a poll on my community tab asking you Queenies if you want me to talk about the 2 episodes that came out this week in one video or 2 separate ones, and option 2 won. So I guess it's going to be so hard to talk about this episode without rambling about the Dark Castle 2, and I think you know where this is heading now. Like, I'm sorry, but I really don't think it was a coincidence that we got both of these back to back, and I'll get into that. This episode is all about one of the new girls in MLB. Aglae. Give us her last name. I wanna check something real quick. No, but like, all jokes aside, I have a feeling they won't be using that naming system they were supposed to have for Leela's personas with the color last names, because they know we've seen the season 5 Bible, so that would be too obvious. Anyways, Aglae is extremely scared of butterflies and ladybugs and everything that has to do with akumas, because she's apparently traumatized from witnessing akumatizations and being akumatized herself. I think this is the first time they talk about the mental and psychological aspect of the trauma that you have to live within the MLB universe, having to subject yourself to so much fucked up shit going on around you. She is even scared of ladybugs. Despite Ladybug being the good that saves everybody, she still associates her with akumatizations and is terrified of her. Scared of butterflies, huh? They talk about possible solutions that could help Aglae, and Aglae suggests that she should get therapy. I never thought this day would come, yet all Miraculous is tackling therapy. We've been saying this for years. Max says he's been getting help too because he's autistic. Oh, Miraculous woke bug is back at it. I love this. Also, never thought we would ever see autism representation in this show for real. Like, hello? I don't know if you all have seen this Thomas Astrayuk interaction on Twitter from a few years ago, but someone asked him if there are any autistic characters in the show, and he said that if we look hard enough we'll find one who is. Not gonna lie, I always thought he meant Kagami, but honestly anyone in this show could be autistic, so like. Also, I love how they treated it as just something that makes you see the world differently, because that's what it is and not an evil bad thing that's weird and off-putting, and Max summed up how it affects him, and I relate so bad too. Miraculous writers, you're getting your 10s for this one, not gonna lie, it's so refreshing to see this. Like, yes, Max, talk your shit baby, our environment is designed for neurotypical MFs. Also, Adrian the Nepo baby billionaire doesn't know what autism is. The autism spectrum? What is that? This had me messed up. Like, sweetie, that's you. Apparently even Milene has talked to this therapist over her fear of mice, so like she's been around. Aglae saying she's not autistic. Okay girl. The Poly Trio saying they would never talk to a therapist. Like, I'm sure. God please bestow upon them a bar of soap. Ala and Nino clocking their T2. Yes, bring out the derision chair. Miss Therapist takes Leela in, and we find out how butterflies became such a huge trigger for her. So she went back to school after locking herself up in the house for months because she felt like it was safe to go out again since Monarch had been defeated, and anytime she was around any kind of insect she would freak out. Meanwhile, the others that came along for emotional support are waiting, and Ala tells Marinette this therapist has helped a lot and she should see her too. Thank you. Finally someone telling her to get help. No, but like, how would Marinette even open up to her and explain what she's going through without telling this lady she's Ladybug? Anyways, Alice says she had some family drama that we only now hear about, and now I wanna know the tea too. Adrian sees a magazine with his father's face on it and frowns before covering it with another one. Love this detail. Like, Adrian asks if he should go to therapy and talk about his father, and Marinette is immediately like, no, that's what I'm here for. Alice says, oh, that's not. Like, no, you can't be his girlfriend and his therapist. That's not healthy, and that's not how it works. Because talking to a professional and talking to your 14-year-old girlfriend are two different things, and while Marinette can comfort him temporarily, it doesn't help in the long run, and the therapist will help him escape his demons once they figure out the root cause of it. Sure, but that's where my untreated ass comes in and wonders how exactly a professional could solve all your problems, because isn't that way they're low-key implying with this maze in a video game analogy? Just saying. Like, I guess that's just how Alice sees it, but it won't get rid of your trauma, obviously. No matter how much work you put into yourself, at the end of the day all it takes is one trigger. Like, all this talk about healing, but I don't know, especially when we're talking about Adrian, who is completely clueless, but I'll talk about that at the end. Marinette feels a little controlling when she insists Adrian doesn't need a professional when he has her, because she feels like she owes him at least this support because of the guilt from the lies. Adrian relying on someone else means distance between them, and the thought of her not knowing what he's telling this professional scares her. And not just this therapist. We have another example of her fearing what this distance means in sublimation when he talks to Sublime. Is this toxic? Kinda bordering on it, I'll just say possessive and overprotective, but Aglae convinces her and Adrian decides it's time for therapy, so she can't really say anything else. It's very obvious what she's thinking in this moment, like what if he gets everything he needs from this therapist and realizes he doesn't need me anymore? What if through all this space to ask himself all the things he's been scared to ask, he starts putting the pieces together and starts doubting Ladybug's words, like we've seen him question people's worship of his dad before and beating himself over it. So back to Aglae, who's talking about the time she was at this greenhouse, butterfly house, whatever you call it, for science class, but she was on the verge of a panic attack when the Poly Trio told her they'll help her, and they shut the door without getting in themselves, so she was standing there alone with the butterflies, and that's when she got akumatized. Strange voices were speaking to her, and that's how she realized there was a new villain with the butterfly miraculous. So she was Lila's first akumatization and the first to find out, huh? So then she became Lady Butterfly and was trapping everyone around cocoons, starting with the Poly Trio. She says she was always scared of getting akumatized because of Time Breaker. I know you all probably want me to comment on this, but I'll let her finish. I'ma let you finish, Lila. She shows the therapist a pic that she claims she took when Time Breaker made her disappear. Allegedly, right? She says she didn't know if it had been days or years and didn't know if she would ever exist in the real world again, and we see drawings of her from that time when she didn't have the white hair or the dark eyes, which means maybe it wasn't her own stylistic choice, allegedly. And she ended up emo because of lack of sleep, making her dark circles like that, and stress making her hair that white, allegedly, which does actually happen to people. A few days after that, a butterfly landed on her again and sent her spiraling, allegedly. The lady says she'll help her de-evilize herself and that she'll assign her an exercise for the next session, and Leela starts freaking out because what do you mean you won't heal me right now, you ugly hag? Aglae, sweetie, not too much on the new lesbian MILF. I'm not joking, her bracelet is the lesbian flag. She has a whole meltdown and calls this lady useless and breaks the little emotional support car and storms out. And the Oscar goes to Lila Rossi. Like, okay, acting skills we love. Aglae takes the elevator before anyone chases after her and the therapist gets akumatized. Chrysalis argues that Ladybug heals people just like that, and if she can then so can you. You don't want your patients to keep suffering, do you? Oh Lila, I need to queen out with you so bad. Then we find her again about to leave with her bike and she says she can't be healed, it's Jover. The therapist comes out and yanks Aglae by the head and gives her a lobotomy. Wait, I kinda need the lady to do this to me. Damn, lobotomy Akuma is crazy. Aglae is now healed and not scared of anything, so she drags Nicki Minaj on Twitter. Girl, watch out, she's gonna get you. Ladybug gets an early sandwich for her Lucky Charm and Cat Noir gets a lobotomy too. Chrysalis shoots him so he loses his powers again, and it's like the 10th time they do this to him this season, please. Ladybug shows up and shuts him up with a gnarly sandwich as if he can't just spit it out, right? And obviously he doesn't, because the episode needs to end. We finally see Aglae again, and now they're helping her get used to butterflies again, and she starts smiling or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure. Oscar-worthy performance, yes, gag. The concept of an Aglae-focused episode not having her in the end card. Adrian goes to therapy for the first time, and I have to ask if Natalie knows about this. Marinette, please tell her I need Natalie's reaction to you both not knowing what he's telling this therapist. Adrian says there's something wrong about his father. Baby, everything's wrong about your father, and I guess that's what he'll figure out by himself through these therapy sessions. The biggest gag would be if we got to see a bit of these sessions every few episodes and see him getting more and more suspicious. Also need to see this lady's reaction to Gabriel being outed as an abuser by his own son after being glorified for months. Oh Marinette, your end is near, I fear. I'll give this episode a 6.8 out of 10 because Aglae gagged me, and that's all I can say for now because you all wanted separate videos for Reckless Driver and the Dark Castle, and like I said, I can't talk about what I mostly wanted to without spoiling the Dark Castle too. Tune in next time for the Dark Castle because that's where I really get into this Aglae stuff. Thank you for watching, and comment down below which of Lila's personas is your favorite.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry! What have I done? I'm so sorry!
I can't feel my
Oh
kid.
crap! The tiger sting like the bee, guys. I have bad nerves. I'm so sorry. Feel better, okay?